Unlike claims of fact, which attempt to prove that something is true by referring to outside data, claims of value make a judgment. They express approval or disapproval. They attempt to prove that some action, belief, or condition is right or wrong, good or bad, beautiful or ugly. Some claims of value are simply expressions of taste, likes and dislikes, preferences or prejudices. Suppose that in your new house you express a preference for a coloured panel in an all-white interior. You cannot refer to an outside authority to produce data to prove you are right or wrong. Many claims of value, however, can be defended or attacked on the basis of standards that measure the worth of an action, a belief, or an object. As far as possible, our personal likes and dislikes should be supported by reference to these standards. Value judgments occur in any area of human experience, but whatever the area, the analysis will be the same. We ask the arguer, who is defending a claim of value, what are the standards for deciding that this action, this belief, or this object is good or bad, beautiful or ugly, desirable or undesirable. For example, let us say that A makes a value claim that X is a highly talented singer, but B disagrees. If both can agree on what standards comply with the value claim, let us say uniqueness and great phrasing, then the discussion or argument can begin. Value claims about morality express judgments about the rightness or wrongness of conduct or belief. Absolute values can be derived from a belief in God and Scripture, but other people may believe in relative values, which may change depending on particular circumstances. As a writer or arguer for a particular point of view, you cannot always know what system of values is held by your reader or listener. All we can ask then, in the name of rationality, is that we rely on evidence and reason instead of dogma. Claims of policy argue adoption of policies or courses of action because problems have arisen that call for a solution. Almost always, should or ought to or must is expressed or implied in a claim of policy. In defending such claims of policy, you may find that you must first convince your audience that a problem exists. That will require that, as part of your longer argument, you make a factual claim, offering data to prove that present conditions are unsatisfactory. You may also find it necessary to refer to the values that support your claim. Then you will be in a position to introduce your policy, to persuade your audience that the solution that you propose will solve the problem. Let us now look at a policy claim in which all these parts work. Imagine you're addressing a group of climate change deniers. Your policy claim is that climate change action should start now. The arguer should first start with a claim of fact. Data will have to be provided to convince a skeptical audience that a problem exists. Your claim of value would be as follows. It is right that our civilization should survive and progress into the future. You can now introduce your claim of policy that climate action should start now. You should then follow with your plan as to how this policy could be implemented. And finally, be sure to point out the benefits for both individuals and society if your policy is adopted. In the last example, we assumed that the hearers or readers would disagree that a problem exists. In many cases, however, the reader may agree that there is a problem, but disagree about the way of solving it. Here, more work will have to be done to convince your audience that your plan is superior to other alternative plans. If there is one lesson you should take from what you have heard so far, is that a claim without support is worthless. Always question the basis of any claim. Be skeptical. Write down what you think are some commonly heard claims that have been repeated in public over the last 5 years. Identify these claims as claims of fact, value, or policy. Take these claims and research the support you think would be necessary to convince an audience that these claims are true.